Taking you live to the White House this morning in our Sunrise Live. President Biden is just hours away from announcing a series of executive actions on gun violence. This comes, of course, after the recent mass shootings in Atlanta and Boulder. And within the last couple of minutes, we're learning 5 people died in what police are calling a mass shooting in South Carolina. So here's what we know so far about those executive orders. Later today, the president plans to announce specific actions on gun control and nominate a new head of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF. A senior administration official says the actions will include regulating homemade guns and federal money for community violence intervention programs. They also include asking the Department of Justice to publish model red flag legislation for states to follow. Those are laws that allow family or police to have the court temporarily take guns away from people who might hurt themselves or others, and directing DOJ to issue a new report on firearms trafficking. The president also plans to nominate David Chipman, a gun control advocate, to lead the ATF. Former Congresswoman and shooting survivor Gabby Giffords tweeted, "These executive actions will help address a crisis that devastates communities across the country on a daily basis." But at least one House Republican is speaking out against the plans. Lauren Boebert of Colorado tweeted, "Republican attorneys general, get ready to fight the Biden executive orders on gun control all the way." The White House says today's announcement is just the beginning. From here, they say the plan is to apply pressure on lawmakers for more action, like a ban on assault weapons and universal background checks.
Yeah, one of the most controversial topics here in this country. We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, Jen, thanks. All right, let's get